already own something this company controls. You've just never heard their name. They own pieces of Fortnite, Spotify, and Tesla, and make more money in a single day than most countries do in a year. But 20 years ago, they were just 5 guys in a tiny office who had just been sued for everything they owned. This is the insane story of Tencent. Later, I'll show you the one government move that wiped out nearly half their value in just a few months. It starts with a copy, a blatant one. Pony Ma and his 4 co-founders looked at a popular messaging app called ICQ, copied the format almost exactly, and released it under a different name. The real owners noticed. They sued. Tencent lost. They had to rename the entire product. They called it QQ. But being sued was actually the best thing that ever happened to them, because QQ wasn't just a copy anymore. It was better. Cuter avatars, group chats before group chats were normal, and an addictive little penguin mascot that made the whole thing feel like a toy instead of software. Chinese teenagers went insane for it. Within 3 years, QQ had over 100 million registered accounts. But there was a massive problem. Zero revenue. Millions of users chatting for free, all day, every day, while Tencent bled money just keeping the servers alive. Investors were nervous. The founders were desperate. So they got ruthlessly creative. They started selling digital items, virtual clothes for your avatar, virtual furniture for a room that didn't exist. None of it was real. Chinese teenagers spent real money on it anyway. This sounds small. It wasn't, but owning your digital identity was just the beginning. Tencent realized that if they could own your avatar, they could eventually own your entire life. That realization became WeChat. Launched in 2011, it wasn't just a messaging app. Chat? Sure, but also pay for a taxi, book a doctor's appointment, apply for a loan, all without leaving the app. Western tech companies still haven't built anything close to this. Over 1 billion people now use WeChat every single month. Not for one thing, for almost everything. But here's where it gets genuinely insane. Tencent didn't stop at building products. They started buying stakes in everyone else's. Roughly 40% of Epic Games, the company behind Fortnite, a controlling stake in Riot Games, the studio behind League of Legends, stakes in Snapchat, in Spotify, in Tesla. If you've played a popular video game in the last decade, there's a real chance Tencent quietly profited from it, even if you've never once heard the name. Think about that for a second. A chat app that got sued for copying another app was now sitting shoulder to shoulder with Apple and Google. They were untouchable until they weren't. In 2021, the Chinese government did something that would make a Western CEO's heart stop. A hard crackdown on the country's biggest tech companies. New gaming restrictions for minors. Antitrust investigations, one after another. Tencent's stock got cut nearly in half within months. The empire didn't collapse, but it got a very public, very painful reminder of exactly who's really in charge. Because in China, even the company that built the most powerful app on the planet, with 1 billion daily users and stakes in half the games you play, ultimately still answers to someone else. And that's the real story here. Not how big they got, but how fast it can all get taken away. 5 friends in Shenzhen copied a chat app in 1998. They got sued for it within a year. Today, they own pieces of the biggest games and platforms on Earth, run the most powerful super app most Westerners have never opened, and generate more cash flow in a single day than entire national economies. That's not a chat app anymore. That's an empire built on penguins, virtual clothes, and a sued startup that refused to stay small.